Hey guys, before we get started with today's video, I want to mention that this video is the first in many videos that will be renumbered as part of Railworks Sundays. As you can tell, it's part of Season 3 originally, however, it's episode 42 out of the entire series. That's right, we've done 42 episodes now of Railworks Sundays, and a lot of the older episodes are going to either be remastered and show their new episode number, or simply be retitled with a new title card and even, to some extent, just basically new footage altogether. Now, with that said, I want to mention that these particular videos will actually still have their season marks in parentheses, however, they will be in an entirely new playlist simply titled Railworks Sunday Series. And you can find those videos there. And if you haven't noticed, the old Railworks Sundays episode 1 as well as episode 2 and 3 have been removed off my channel now. So there's not much of a need to actually go ahead and look those up. Just go ahead and look at the new videos now submitted. Hey, what is up guys, Shadow Steel here, and welcome to Railworks Sundays. So officially this particular episode was supposed to be the Railworks, the last part of the viewer special essentially. And as you can see by the map, I've already kind of started the scenario to some extent, but didn't work out too well because I ended up failing it horribly. Well, not horribly, but, you know, I got to the first station and got a timeliness penalty. Yeah, there we go. That loaded quickly. Sorry about this delay. I know you want to get home on time, at least as badly as your passengers. I've instructed the freight ahead of you to highball it. If you follow him closely, you should be able to keep your timetable. Set that forward. Set that bell light on. Set the cab light on. Look out the window so I can actually see the signal. What the hell is that? Oh. Looking through the Steam Workshop now. On those signals. I think I should probably reset the map too, essentially. Alright, so an interesting... What the fuck just happened there? So an interesting thing about the particular song at the beginning there was actually it's a song from the LostProphets. It's called Last Train Home, and I figured it was very fitting for the scenario I was playing here. Oh, wow, okay. So the map's not working exactly. Oh, there it goes. It reset. I think I might get it clear soon. There we go. And like I've mentioned previously, that was an air whistle that these locomotives tended to use quite a bit. Go. I need to kind of rush it now. There we go. However, the map is not working too well. I'm not exactly sure why. No matter, it should be fine. Until I see some like real problems coming up, I will not deal with the map too much. It looks like it's not working. Huh, interesting. There we go. Clear. Line minimal reduction. Release. I feel that they ripped the bell on this locomotive from a tourist line. Because a lot of like tourist lines like the Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum still use GP9s quite a bit for their operations, especially routes like especially the North Carolina Transportation Museum. They still operate GP9s. However, they also operate steam locomotives, if you know what I mean. Essentially what I'm saying is that they operate the 611 on occasion. Alright, I don't think I've got all the cars on the platform, but who fucking cares? Alright, so we have a total of 5 instructions. I think at number 3, I'll go ahead and kind of pause the video and do the screenshot of the week, which thankfully contacted one guy. He's willing to actively go ahead and let me use the screenshot for the screenshot of the week. So you'll see him later. Alright, double the throttle. The map's not working at all, so I have to turn that off. La 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 la. There we go. In-screen editing. Now, I love this route, actually. It's pretty impressive, to say the least. So, to see it, like, actually play it for once, it's actually pretty impressive. I just seem to like it real well. Trying to get her up to 35 miles an hour, so we can actually cut down. There goes the map. Should be a train up ahead. There he is. Get up to speed again. I'm just waiting for the signal to clear, I'm guessing. Okay, that's enough. By the way, that is not our stop next. The one that's showing up on the map. Hello there, sir. Just pass through the signal now. One thing I'm actually surprised by is that there's quite a few BNSF licensed content on this route. So essentially, there are cars with blank logos that are tied with the Santa Fe, the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy, and the Seattle, Spokane, and Washington. The Seattle, Seattle, Portland, and fuck, I can't pronounce it. I'm so confused by that name. It's the SPS, which is what SPS, like, Spokane, Portland, and Seattle Railway. I think that's it. But yes, that is one of the other routes that was essentially, that was censored in this route. I honestly am pissed off, not at Dovetail Games for this whole licensing issue, but at officially the BNSF. The reason why is that the BNSF is a home, even though the BNSF is a hometown railway for me, I don't understand why they would not allow, like what in the world is causing them not to license out the BNSF logo outside of the United States. Literally, outside the 50 states of the United States, you cannot actively have the BNSF logo anywhere on the route. And it just pisses me off. Because that means a handful of routes, like this one in particular, they come up with, I want to say that they end up lowering the realism like the Metro route was easily a fix, because I think the developers themselves released a patch on Railworks America to fix the logos and signage all across the BNSF racetrack route. However, because this is another third-party developed route, you would think they would go ahead and try and create some new logos as a freeware download. Because if it's a freeware content, you're allowed to send out the signage and stuff. However, if it's payware, that's when things get tricky for the BNSF, because they want to make sure that everything that they license out, that they are the ones licensing it out, and not some random asshole that is basically trying to get a profit off the BNSF license. Now, supposedly, the reason for this whole thing is that in Europe, there is a company that actually has the trademark BNSF. However, many people I've talked to already were so confused by this wording, because they have stated that there's nothing that would suggest that the BNSF actively operate, like there's another company that owns the BNSF licensing. Now, I could be wrong, and I could look it up right now, essentially saying, oh, this is what the route is essentially, and stuff like that, but I honestly have to say that they might be right. Because there's a very easy fix for that trademark, essentially. Now, the BNSF trademark is not... It's sort of like, I think, their third official trademark, essentially. Their first trademark was the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railway. And that was seen on a lot of products in the early 2000s when the railroad was starting to come out. That's a big power. They had just recently formed in 96, and they were kind of growing as a whole. And their logo was the Burlington Northern Santa Fe. It was the typical Santa Fe logo, the circle and cross. But in the middle, like around it, was the BNSF, like the Burlington Northern Santa Fe. However, for some strange reason, they eventually changed the logo several times to the Burlington Northern, to BNSF, Burlington Northern Santa Fe, BNSF. Like they had both those together in the same trademark. And then they had, BNSF trademark they have today. In fact, they've actively stated that the BNSF is their official name, not the Burlington Northern Santa Fe. And that, in my mind, is just confusing, to say the least, because when I think of the BNSF, I think of the Burlington Northern Santa Fe, which was their official name. It's been their name since they were formed. So to know, to hear the name BNSF and not say, oh, this is the Burlington Northern Santa Fe, it's just rather confusing for me, to say the least. And if I want to keep an eye, I'm trying to keep an eye on signals right now. Okay, double yellow. Putting on minimal. Yeah, that was one of the big problems I had. And this route being a third-party route, they actively have their own website too that they sell add-on content for. I think it's called the Golden Age of Railroading. They actively have released BNSF content as freeware for Railworks, and I've linked them in the description, I think. However, for some strange reason, their logos for this route, for all BNSF content, was not entered. Like, they don't even have a patch for it. People have stated, like, I've actually talked to quite a few people that actually own the route, and the other Kingswood branch route, which, by the way, they also have they also have missing logos because of the BNSF licensing. But both the Kingwood branch and this route do not have, like, they have cars that are dedicated to the BNSF, but they don't have any logos to them. Now, this was done, like, there were other routes that were released. The aforementioned racetrack route was one of them. However, another particular route in particular that did have this other problem was, ironically, the Clear Creek narrow gauge line that I've run before. I've run it a few times, actually, including on one of my workshop showcases. I'm not sure about the other one. But that particular route was, I think, developed by Dovetail Games. And whoever bought it in the United States got a bonus DLC item called the US Livery Pack. However, it was rather interesting because I think some people were noting that the route was somewhat wonky when using those because it was not a separate asset in the logo pack, in the whole like listed assets. So when you click the route, it would automatically click the US Locomotive Asset Livery Pack. Sorry about that. So occasionally, some people would start playing a scenario that was made in the United States, and all of a sudden, they couldn't play the route because it was explaining that some of the assets were not available for them. Okay, here's a clearer view of the air whistle up here. Get a better view of it here. Basically, it looks like a loudspeaker, but that's the air whistle on the front of the locomotive there. There appears to be two on this locomotive too. One there and one there. Okay. Move to my train, see how we're doing. It's rather confusing. You'd think the passenger cars would be open. I guess they don't open officially until the passengers are needed, I guess. Huh, interesting. I like how the last car here is kind of touching, I guess you could say. Alright. You get ready to go. Alright, all aboard. Next stop, Springfield. Scheduled time of arrival is midnight, 12:59, essentially. Notch it up twice. Turn off the light. There we go. Alright, and we're off. So once we pass that particular objective, I am going to stop the video, and from there I will go ahead and show you guys the screenshot of the week. Thankfully, I'm actually very happy to announce that there are a handful of, like, he actively has allowed me to use the screenshot, and I have another person in the, like, group that is willing to let me show his screenshots, but I haven't picked any of his just yet. He's been mainly doing reskins, and I kind of want to wait a little bit until I can actually get some good reskin screenshots, essentially. Alright, we're passing the 79 miles an hour limit. There we go. We're already approaching the track marker. Huh, interesting. We're recording for 26 minutes, huh? Officially, it's probably been less, but still. Passing over a bridge, see a whistle post, blow the whistle. I think it's right up at this crossing here. Or the signal. Or was that a mile post? I think that was a mile post. No matter, I'll still sum the 14L. Yeah, it was a mile post. Damn it. Clear! There's a was supposed. Alright, proceed to Springfield on track 2. The freight will enter the arrival/departure tracks at South Springfield and will be out of your way so you have a clear path into Union Station. I don't know if I sounded the proper 14L, but oh well. Alright. So I guess I'm going to stop the recording here for a short time. Up. Turn on the windshield wipers. And from here, I will show you guys the screenshot of the week. Today's screenshot of the week is provided by Nicholas Wozniak. I'm just going to pronounce it like that, I guess. But his name's up on screen. And his screenshot of the Milwaukee Road 261 double heading with Southern Pacific 4449 and a winter snowstorm is pretty dramatic, and it's actually worth taking a look at. The screenshot, of course, is from the Train Simulator TS 2017 and TS World Screenshot Group, and as of right now, I still have yet to receive any emails on regards to the screenshot of the week, and the email is listed down below. So, with that said, let's continue with today's episode. Alright, guys, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the screenshot. I'm actually impressed by what he did, to say the least. So we're trying to get up to top speed here, trying to keep our schedule in order. But, yeah, it's actually been rather an interesting ride to the place. Quite a few crossings here. You get a lot of air whistle action. We've got a 45 coming up now. Nice. We could use a little braking action now. Wait, probably to the last minute because I feel that the brakes on these things are very finicky. Also, it appears we have a clear up ahead. Does look like it. Passing through the crossing again. Oh, I see. The 45 is only through the station there. And through the crossing again. Wasn't really paying attention there, but oh well. Can't seem to get enough speed up. I slowed down way too much there. Alright, I'm gonna probably do something here. Pause. Like I mentioned before, there is actually a nice little that's actually one of the few things I've been ooh, double yellows, huh? Okay, there we go. Move the HUD. Screen. There we go. Recording. That's actually a nice recording shot I got there. Oh, pfft. I was slowing down way too much there. Oh well. Well, either way, we can get back to speed. Oh wow. We're actually relatively close to our destination. Nice. Man, I've got that song stuck in my head. I'm actually glad I've played this quite a bit. Because for one, I love the fact that it's called Last Train Home. Because that was one of my favorite songs from LostProphets. They don't have a large library. I think they have like 3 albums. Because I think shortly after they formed as a group, I think the lead singer committed suicide. Like, I think they released 3 albums, the lead singer committed suicide, and then they released a best of album in honor of him. And it's not, I mean, ironically, another one of my favorite bands, their lead singer has passed away too from suicide. A lot of you guys are probably aware of Linkin Park, their band, and the lead singer Chester Bennington. He committed suicide earlier this year, and it's been really it was really shocking to me, to say the least. All right. Please call the tower if the next signal shows stop. Please press tab if the signal is red. Signal over here is not red. I'm so confused by these things. The little dwarfs. So yeah, the lead singer of Linkin Park committed suicide, and there's now footage, or supposedly there's footage of him just days before committing suicide, and he's the happiest person he could ever be. It's like, this guy was going to commit suicide, but if you look into the whole suicide thing, you'll learn that a lot of times before these people tend to commit suicide, they're the happiest people on earth, because they're ready to go. They're just like, well, this is it. I might as well live the last days like they're literally my last. And to know that this singer, who's played a lot of my favorite songs over the years, has passed away, committed suicide, it was shocking. And some of my favorite bands like Papa Roach and a handful of others have all been out there, all supporting and saying this was a sad day for us and everything like that. So, and I honestly just, to know that, and this seems to be the way for a lot of bands or lead singers, where they will just commit suicide because it's been difficult for them. They can't seem to find their creative muse or anything. I don't know why that happens. I think there's some sort of glitch or something. And it's just really, really I mean, just I'm honestly because a lot of my favorite bands over the years have been a lot of my American rock bands essentially are the result of their hardships and everything. And one in particular is the Foo Fighters. the Foo Fighters, if you haven't noticed, if you don't know their story, their band was created out of the most of the band members are from Nirvana. So with the lead singer Nirvana killed himself with a shotgun, the lead singer of the Foo Fighters decided, well, we want to keep making music, so we will go ahead and make our own band. And then they created the Foo Fighters. And it's just like one of those the little offshoots, like, we need to keep going. Even though we're kind of like, even though a lot of us are no longer like together. And a lot of bands that I've listened to, they've created new bands, or they're the original band name, and yet many of the old members, like a handful of times, like get back together and tour with the new guys and stuff like that. So it's just, I mean, I don't know, because a lot of the bands I like. Now, I do have a ton of like J-pop music and stuff like that that is obviously my favorite music. I mean, one of my videos on Facebook was a 50th episode preview for Railworks Sundays, which, by the way, this is, I think, episode 40, officially 43, I think. So there's that. Whoop. I'm too fast. Alright, we're right on schedule too. Nice. I wasn't even speeding either. Pulling into the platform. You know, I'm probably sure that you guys are just like, why are you talking about music? We're here to watch trains. But let's face it. Sometimes you got to talk about sometimes you got to talk about things that sometimes matter to you. Have a discussion, if you will. All right, minimal. Go ahead and get out of the cab for a second. There's our title card. Didn't bother to get that anytime soon. Okay, there goes the doors. Now they're open. Oh boy. Shit. I do love the other cars. Like, I can tell this is a lightweight, essentially. Or it's supposed to be a lightweight, I guess. I feel like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? What the hell? What is that? That's not human. Alright, we've arrived at Springfield, and you brought the train home on time, in spite of the traffic. Good work. Boop. Alright. It took me shorter than I thought. Alright, so, like and comment down below. Subscribe if you guys want more, and I will see you guys in the next episode. To submit your screenshots for the Screenshot of the Week, send them to this email address at railworksscreenshot@gmail.com.